And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Disney Sidekicks. Time to kick it into hero mode. Now, I'm kind of excited about this because I like Disney movies, like most people do, and I always like the sidekicks. They're your favorite characters from movies. When I talk, or at least for me, when I talk about a movie, I'm not going to talk about usually the main character. Like, you got Simone and you got Pumbaa here from Timon and Pumbaa, sorry, from The Lion King. They're much more interesting to me than the main character was. That's just that way it is. The candlestick, I love the candlestick from Beauty and the Beast. So that's what this game is. The main characters have been captured, and you are one of the sidekicks trying to free them, fighting against the villains of the piece, whether it's Captain Hook or Scar, whatever it might be, and there's a mix match of those. It's designed by very famous board game designer Eric Lang. It is, like I said, fully cooperative game. Let's take a look at it, and we'll be back. There's two sides of the board. This is the 4-player side. The other side is 2 to 3 players. In this, you're going to pick one of the 5 sidekicks that you want to be: Tinkerbell, Lumiere, Timon and Pumbaa, Abu, and Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. So you're going to take your figures, put them on the board. There's a certain setup that's for the board. Your particular hero, so you're not the hero, again, you're the sidekick. Your particular heroes are going to go in the castle here. You need to rescue them with locks around the castle. There's villagers on the outside of the board that you need to rescue. There are guard tokens. And then each character has 7 cards. You're going to draw 3. That's all you're going to use over the course of the game. So every game will be different. You have these 3 cards, and these are special abilities that you don't have. You need to fill all the spots here with with villagers of different colors, and then you'll have special abilities that you can use over the course of the game. You're making a bad guy deck that's going to be filled with a couple neutral cards, this Danger Rising card, but then also it's going to have the cards that match the villain that you're going up against, and so you're going to shuffle that to make the Danger deck. The first thing you'll do on a turn is you have the Danger phase. So you'll turn over the top Danger card, and first it will put a villager on the board. So you're going to put a villager on the space that matches that symbol there. That's in your region where you are. So you're either in the outer region or the inner region. So you'll find that space. So let's say we're in the outer region, and you'll draw a villager from the pile. They're different colors, and add it there. You'll see there's 2 villagers there. If you ever need to add a 3rd villager to a spot where there's villagers, instead you're going to put it on the top one of these spaces here of the castle. Not every card has 3 sections. You'll see this one does, but some cards have fewer sections, so just different things will happen. So like, for example, this one would put a villager on that space. This one doesn't have that. But there's also text on these spots, like this adds a guard to Gaston's space, and each space adjacent to him. Then each henchman attacks the sidekick on their space, if any. So you have these other things that are on these spots, and then the bottom of each card might have a villain move, or if there's a guard that's summoned, like this one will summon a guard who will attack. Each of the sidekicks has special abilities, like Abu says when you draw a danger card, you can discard it to draw a new danger card. And he can spend a star, if he has any star tokens, to do so when another sidekick draws a danger card. You're also going to have health here, and when you're attacked, the enemy is going to roll a dice, and you got to be careful because they will hit you on that side there. So henchmen are going to roll the attack dice once. Villains are going to roll the attack die based on how many stars they have on them. And so villains can get stronger over the course of the game and really wail on you. If any of the sidekicks' health runs out, then you lose. So you have to be very careful. You want to do your best to heal the sidekick. So after the villains are done doing all this stuff, and sometimes when you're attacked, not everything's bad. If they attack you and they roll a star, you get a star. But then the good guy is going to get to go, and they're going to take actions. You have a certain number of actions that you can take. It's mentioned on your card itself, how many actions you can take, and there are different actions to do. One of your actions can just be moving, so you can move to an adjacent spot or even over a bridge if you want to. You can also attack. You want to attack the different villains. You want to attack different guards. You can attack a henchman. You can only attack each villain once. And when you attack, you are trying to roll the thumb here. the Mickey Mouse thumb. If you do that, you hit. Every other thing is a miss. The star itself will give you more stars, and you can use those for your special abilities. When a villain is hit, you reduce their health by taking stars off their track. So each villain you have stars on the track, and you're going to remove those and get those stars. When you take the last star off, they're defeated, they're removed from play. But that doesn't mean you've won. You're also going to try to defeat guards to get rid of them, because too many guards will go in castle spaces, and when all the castle spaces here are filled up, you lose. You also want to rescue villagers. You simply can just rescue a villager and put it on one of your power cards. And like I said, as you fill up your power card, you get special abilities. You can also rest. Once per turn, you can rest, and you can take a star, or you can add one to your health. And then finally, you do want to go rescue your hero. So you have to be adjacent to the castle, remove an unlocked token here. You have to unlock these. So you have to go there, and you have to spend 5 stars. You need to get stars to do this. Unlock it. And then once it's unlocked, you can rescue your hero. The sidekicks win when all the heroes are rescued, but you also have to defeat at least one villain. And the villains win when any sidekick health is out, when all 5 castle guard towers are filled, a 3rd bridge is destroyed. Bridges can get destroyed in this game. Or if a villain has a special loss condition and that is met. Each of the villains will have special setups, and they possibly have other ways for them to win. Components for this game are a mixed bag. Some of them are really good. These are really nice. With a nice finish on them. I think the art is really well done. I don't dislike the characters. I don't think they're really easy to see the details on them, but it doesn't really matter. They look good. The castle's a fine thing. The tokens, on the other hand, are horrendous. They're really tiny. The villagers are different colors, but it's not always easy to tell the different colors apart. And they're really tiny, and I'm living in constant fear that I'm going to lose them. They drop all over the place. They don't fit very well in the plastic insert. The rule book is fine. The cover looks great. The die is fine. It's not a great die, but it's fine. And the cards are cool. So most of the components are fine, but those tokens are terrible. I went into this game pretty excited. Again, I think the cover looks great. I think a lot of it looks good other than those small tokens. It has a good look, and I like the idea of mixing together these properties. I like the idea of having Scar, going up against the candlestick, or having the 3 fairies. And there's also a lot of differentiation between the different characters. Gaston is going to act very differently than Scar is, and they have different rules for them. The gameplay itself, so taking out the idea, the gameplay itself is where this breaks down. The gameplay is fairly generic. There's not a lot of new things that we're seeing here. We're seeing you turn over a card, the bad guys do stuff, the heroes get a bunch of good actions, then the bad guys do stuff, and you keep going till somebody wins. So we see things like, if there's too many guards in a location or too many villagers in a location, then you kind of have a burst and it goes to a tower wall, which is very similar to Pandemic. Now, I'm not going to knock the game completely because of that, because that is kind of a mainstay of many cooperative games, many of which I enjoy, where there are bad things happen and then you do good actions. That's what this does. Now, there's a decent amount of randomness involved with the dice rolling, and I'll come back to that. And you do have those 3 special cards, which, by the way, is the coolest part of the game. You use 3 cards out of 7, and so each game's going to feel a little bit different. But those cards take a while to get activated, so for a while they're just kind of sitting there. Once they are activated, then you have a chance to fight against the bad guys. So the game itself, I don't know that I would be super thrilled with it by itself, but it's fine. When you add the theme in, that helps elevate it, because you can get a little bit behind a theme, and like I said, the villains act a little bit Disney-esque. There's one problem with this game, and it's a pretty big one, though. It is really difficult. Now, if you've been watching the Dice Tower for any given point, you know that I'm very much opposed to really difficult cooperative games. I think cooperative games should be not necessarily easy or a cakewalk, but that they should be, a little difficult, a little challenging, but you should be able to beat them. And then you should have rules in the box that say, here's how you can make the game harder, and then play it on terror mode, nightmare mode, whatever. Make it harder. I mean, like for a good example is Pandemic. Pandemic on the easy mode is beatable. You can still lose, but it's beatable. And then you start upping the levels Pandemic, and it's just off the charts. This one is tremendously difficult. Now, I've beaten it, so this isn't sour grapes. I've beaten this game. But when we beat the game, or when you lose the game, it really feels like it comes down to luck. So, again, you could say, well, Tom, you just don't like very hard, difficult, cooperative games. I get that. I get that I don't like hard, difficult, cooperative games. I want them not to be so hard, or at least maybe start at a level and go harder. But my problem with this game is it's called Disney Sidekicks. It's sold at mass market stores, and people are going to walk up and buy this game. They're going to open it. They're going to go through the rules, which are not, it's not a simple game. I mean, at its core, it's kind of simple, but there's a lot of rules, a lot of things to follow, a lot of different things to look up. Then they're going to get their tails handed to them, and then they're going to say, I don't want to play games anymore. Or at least I don't like this at all. This is the kind of game, and I hate saying this, I wish this game didn't exist, because I think it's going to attract people into playing it because it looks fun and bright and woohoo, and I think the cooperative thing is good, but it's so hard. It's so devastatingly difficult. I mean, you can lose this game really fast. I mean, you can lose a game, boom, 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 and it's over in a few turns. I mean, some of the bad guys get so powerful, they come around, they knock you, your health can go down. Anything can happen if you make any wrong turn, and if the dice don't roll in your favor, that random factor, it comes back to get you. And that's a turnoff. I played this with my kids, and they just weren't enjoying it because of that. You say, well, maybe you shouldn't play with your kids, but that's the marketing. You see this box, that's what you're buying it for. Families are going to walk up and be like, Disney, yes. I just saw a guy, one of my friends was wearing a shirt that said Disney in my veins, and I was thinking, really? You know, you like Disney that much? But yeah, people love Disney. They love Disney. But then this game is going to smack them around. And I don't think that combining works at all. So to that end, I can't recommend this game, because if you like those hard, devastatingly difficult games, you're probably wanting to play something like Bloodborne, or, you know, some heavier game, Ghost Stories, with a theme that kind of matches that. This has that overarching heavy thing. I mean, it felt like, wow, do they want people to lose? Because that's what it feels like to me. So to that end, this is one I think that people should give a pass to, unless you do meet that juxtaposition of, I like Disney and I want a really, really difficult game, and I don't mind these little tiny tokens, then this is for you. But for everyone else, I don't think it's a game that you should check out. There's other cooler, more fun cooperative games out there, like Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert. They're great cooperative games for families. Disney Sidekicks isn't. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower and Judgment, not approved.